Hi students, welcome to the video module on renewable energy sources. Renewable energy is defined as energy that is collected from resources which are naturally restored on consumption. So this type of energy resources are restored by itself so that it will not get over due to usage of this type of energy. Such resources are known as renewable energy resources. There are many renewable energy resources around us. So in this module, we are going to learn about some of the renewable energy resources. Renewable energy contributes about 14% of global energy consumption and 24% of total generated electricity. Renewable energy resources exist over wide geographical areas in contrast to the other energy resources such as fossil fuels, which are concentrated mainly in a limited number of countries. We know that the petroleum resources are exist in a limited number of countries, but the renewable energy sources exist in many places. They spread worldwide, and renewable energy technologies are considered as clean and green because they produce very less pollutants. So that means there are so many advantages of these renewable energy resources. They reduce climatic changes compared to the burning of fossil fuel. They produces less amount of hazardous gases. A renewable energy resource enhance local markets and employment generation. Diversification of energy supply provides better energy security. Rather than rather than concentrating on one form of energy resource, if we diversify other energy sources, uh, that gives a better energy security to each country. Poverty reduction and enhanced standard of living. Health related impacts are there for the use of renewable energy resources because the production of hazardous gas are less in this case. It helps other sectors to benefit from this renewable energy sources. So what are the main renewable energy sources? Here we listed some of the renewable energy sources such as wind energy, solar energy, biofuels, hydropower or hydroelectricity. In that, small hydroelectric power stations, ocean thermal energy (OTEC), tidal energy, wave energy, and geothermal energy. These are some of the some forms of renewable energy sources. Wind energy, one of the no, one of the renewable energy resource is wind energy. There are several ways in which we can use wind energy. One is we can use wind energy directly, or we can use windmills. You know, a windmill is a structure that converts wind power into rotational energy by means of vanes called sails or blades, specifically to mill grains. So windmill can convert wind energy to other types of mechanical energy, and thereby we can use that for directly for mill grains and such uses. Or nowadays we are using the term windmill for applications such as wind turbines that converts wind energy to electrical energy. Okay, so now we can define a windmill as a device that converts the energy of wind to other forms of energy, and like electrical energy and so on. So in a windmill that converts electrical energy, I'm sorry, a windmill that converts wind energy to electrical energy, there will be a turbine that rotates with the energy of wind. It is in turn connected to a field magnet and armature coil. So when the armature coil rotates inside the field magnet, or in reverse, both are okay for that. So when there is a change in magnetic flux linked with the coil, an EMF, a current will be induced in that, and we know that this phenomenon is the electromagnetic induction. Okay, so wind energy is used for rotating the armature coil, and thereby it produces electricity. And this electricity can be either stored in battery, or we can directly use that by changing the voltage with the help of a transformer. Da. ഒരു 3 ലീഫുള്ള ഒരു വിൻഡ് മില്ലാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇത് കറങ്ങുന്നു. ഈ വിൻഡ് മില്ല് കാറ്റിൻ്റെ ഗതിക്കനുസരിച്ച് ഇത് കറങ്ങുകയും അതിനകത്ത് ഇതൊരു ടർബൈനാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇത് ഒരു ഇതിൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ ഒരു ആർമേച്ചർ കോയിലും ഫീൽഡ് മാഗ്നറ്റും ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും. സോ ആർമേച്ചർ കോയിൽ കറങ്ങുന്നതനുസരിച്ച് ഇലക്ട്രോ മാഗ്നറ്റിക് ഇൻഡക്ഷൻ നടക്കുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുക. അപ്പോൾ ഇലക്ട്രോ മാഗ്നറ്റിക് ഇൻഡക്ഷൻ വഴി ഇലക്ട്രിസിറ്റി ഉൽപ്പാദിപ്പിക്കപ്പെടുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ വിൻഡ് എനർജിയെ ഇലക്ട്രിസിറ്റി ആയിട്ട് മാറ്റുന്ന ഒരു വിൻഡ് മില്ലാണ് നിങ്ങളിവിടെ കാണുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇത്തരത്തിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇതിൻ്റെ ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ടിൽ കാണാൻ പറ്റും ഒട്ടനവധി വിൻഡ് മില്ലുകൾ ഇവിടെ കാണാം. അപ്പോൾ ഇത്തരത്തിൽ ഒരുപാട് വിൻഡ് മില്ലുകളുള്ള ഈ ഒരു സ്ഥലം, ഇതിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ വിൻഡ് എനർജി ഫാം എന്നാണ് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്ന ഇലക്ട്രിസിറ്റി അത് താഴെ, അപ്പോൾ താഴെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കാണാൻ പറ്റിയ ഒരു ട്രാൻസ്ഫോമറാണ് അവിടെ വെച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഈ ട്രാൻസ്ഫോമറിൽ നിന്നും അതിൻ്റെ വോൾട്ടേജ് കൂട്ടുകയും വോൾട്ടേജ് കുറയ്ക്കുകയും എല്ലാം ചെയ്യാം. ഇതൊരു വോൾട്ടേജ് കൂട്ടുന്നതിനുള്ള ഡിവൈസാണ്. അപ്പോൾ സ്റ്റെപ്പ് അപ്പ് ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. സ്റ്റെപ്പ് അപ്പ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഇതൊരു പവർ ഫീഡറിലേക്ക് കൊടുക്കുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ഇത്രയും കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് ഇവിടെ നടക്കുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ ഇത് ഒരു വിൻഡ് മില്ലിനെ പരിചയപ്പെടുത്തുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി ഞാനിവിടെ ഇതിന് മുന്നിൽ എത്തിയതാണ്. ഓക്കെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ്, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി കാണും വിൻഡ് മില്ല് എന്താണെന്നുള്ളത് എന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. ഓക്കെ ബൈ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ്. Next is solar energy. Solar energy is radiant light and heat from the sun that is harnessed using a range of ever-evolving technologies such as solar heating, photovoltaics, solar thermal energy, solar architecture, molten salt power plants, and artificial photosynthesis. So there are many ways in which solar energy can be harnessed. And you might be familiar with some of the technologies: direct solar heating of materials, direct heating of water, etc. We use or in that way we harness solar energy. And there are other technologies like solar photovoltaic devices, we familiar commonly known as solar power plants or solar cells that convert solar energy to electrical energy, and we can store this energy for using when solar energy is not available. So such devices are there. And the solar artificial photosynthesis also, nowadays we are trying for converting solar energy into useful forms of energy. And in that, the most common one is solar power plants or solar cells. A solar cell is a device. A solar cell is a photovoltaic device that converts solar energy directly to electrical energy. And a number of solar cells combined, that is actually called a solar panel. A number of solar panels together, that we call it as a solar power plant. So here you can see some solar power plants, and this place is very familiar to us. It is in Kerala. This power plant is this is the Cochin International Airport, or Nedumbasheri International Airport, that is known as the world's first green international airport, which uses solar energy for its complete working. And this is the wind energy. I'm sorry. This is the solar energy plant, solar power plant that is worked installed for use in Cochin International Airport. This is in front of the airport, and this is the nearby field they converted to solar energy power plant. And the similar type of solar energy plant is there for Kochi metro station also. Kochi metro also nowadays they use the solar energy. You can see this on the rooftop of the solar station, the power stations, and also solar energy. Solar panels are installed on large area of land near Kochi metro yard in Kalamassery. The next type of non-renewable energy resource is biomass. Biomass is organic materials, meaning it is made of materials that comes from living organisms such as plants and animals. The most common biomass material used for energy are plants, wood, and waste. These are called biomass. Biomass energy can also be a non-renewable energy resource. We know that biomass energy is basically um, they produced with the help of solar energy itself, because plants convert solar energy into other forms of energy or carbohydrates, etc., and they store this energy in their body. And animals also get energy from these plants. So after the death of these plants and animals, we can use this type of energy for in various ways. We are using this energy, and one thing is that we can directly burn the materials, like we can burn wood and we can burn the cow dung, etc., can be dried, and they can be burned to get energy from that. And there is another method of harnessing biomass is biogas. Biogas is a mixture of gases produced by the breakdown of organic matter in the absence of oxygen, which is called an anaerobic process. The biogas primarily consists of methane and carbon dioxide. Biogas can be produced from raw materials such as agricultural waste, manure, municipal waste, plant material, sewage, and green waste or food waste, etc. There are different types of biogas plants. Uh, Few of them are listed here. Fixed dome type biogas plant, floating drum type biogas plant. Then there are other type of biogas plants: tube digester, balloon plants, horizontal plants, earth pit plants, ferrocement plants. We will discuss about two types of biogas plants: fixed dome type and floating drum type. No, in a fixed dome type biogas plant, it consists of a digester. It consists of a digester which is a fixed one, a non-movable gas holder. So you can see here this is a non-movable gas holder which sit on the top of the digester. This is the digester system, and this is the gas collector. Okay, and when the production starts, the slurry is displaced into the condensation tank, and gas pressure increases with the volume. Okay, so the waste materials can be inserted using this knob here, and after a few days of anaerobic process, gas will be evolved, and the slurry produced can be moved automatically. That will be lifted to the slurry tank, which can be removed from there. That is some a small description of a fixed dome type biogas plant. Okay, and the biogas collected at the collection chamber can be taken out with the help of tubes, and that can connect to stove for use in kitchen, or they can be used for some other commercial purposes. And the next type of biogas plant is a floating drum type biogas plant. This was familiar in India, because this type of plants and they first used by Indian companies actually. Okay, but nowadays this is not that much familiar because other type of plants are in use. A floating drum type biogas plant consists of a gas collection chamber which float over the um, digester system. So as the quantity of gas evolved increases, this gas holder moves upward. So the based on the volume of gas inside, the gas holder move up and down, and the gas can be taken outside with the help of gas outlet on the top of the movable gas collection drum. Okay. The next type of renewable energy resource is hydroelectric power station. You all are familiar with hydroelectric power station because in Kerala there are a large number of hydroelectric power plants, and one of the major hydroelectric power station is Mulamattam, the Idukki power station, which is a major resource of our electric energy supply in Kerala. Okay, so what is a hydroelectric power station? And in a hydroelectric power station, water will be water stored at a high altitude using reservoirs or dams. And the stored water, it has got a high potential energy. So the stored water is allowed to fall down through through narrow pipes called penstocks, and they're connected to a turbine. You can see that the water which flows down at a high speed, because the potential energy of stored water is very high. So when water flows down, that will be converted to kinetic energy. So the potential energy of stored water is converted to kinetic energy, and that in turn rotates the turbine. The turbine is connected to a generator which works on the principle of electromagnetic induction, and that produces electricity, and that can be sent to long distance with the help of transformers and electric power lines. So basically, in a hydraulic power station, the stored potential energy of water is converted to kinetic energy, and thereby it converts to electrical energy using a generator. The next type of energy resource is OTEC, Ocean Thermal Energy Conversion. The temperature of water in an ocean is different at a different altitude. The water on the surface will be somewhat hotter compared to water at bottom. There will be significant temperature difference between the water surface and the water at a high depth. I mean, water at some depth. So this difference in temperature can be used to convert some refrigerant materials like liquid ammonia or something. Some sort of refrigerant can be converted. When there's a temperature difference, they will convert to high pressurized gas. So this high pressurized gas can be used for rotating turbine, and they produces electricity. And then the pressure of the gas reduces, and that again uh, being convert or compresses to the same state with the help of the temperature difference on surface and bottom. So you can see a structural diagram of an ocean thermal energy plant. So an ocean thermal energy plant converts the difference in temperature between top and deep portion of ocean to generate electricity. Next type of renewable energy resource is tidal energy. What is tides? The level, the ocean, the water level in ocean will not be same every time due to the gravitational pull of sun and moon. The level of water rises, and due to the gravitational pull of earth, the level of water moves down. So this raising and lowering of level of water due to the gravitational force of earth and sun and moon is actually known as tides. So the level change occurs. So whenever the level change occurs, that can be converted to electrical energy with the help of a turbine. So you can see in this diagram, when water gets in, the turbine rotates in one direction, and when water moves out due to the low tide. So this happens at time of high tide and low tide. So at the time of high tide, water rushes into the tank, and when low tide occurs, water moves out. So with this, when this movement occurs, that energy can be used to rotate a turbine, and in turn a generator. So electric energy can be produced from that. The next is wave energy. Waves are surface phenomena. So that we know that waves occur on ocean surface every time. So this can be used to move a floating buoy. You can see a floating buoy here. So as a wave moves, this is different than tides. So waves is surface phenomena. So the water rises up and down, so or moves down. So the movement of waves can be converted to useful form of energy with the help of buoys So these buoys also move along with the waves. So it pushes high pressure water through the tube into the turbine here, and the turbine rotates and electricity will be produced. After that, the low pressure water will be taken back to the ocean. Okay, so this is a small description of wave energy. Now we have geothermal energy. This is not that much familiar type of energy conversion in India, but in some other countries like USA and all, they are using this sort of energy also. So geothermal energy is the heat that comes from the subsurface of Earth. It is contained in the rock and fluid beneath the Earth's crust and can be found as far down to the Earth hot molten rock magma. So the temperature temperature from these hot regions can be used to generate electricity. How? The one method is using this heat directly, or another method is, by with the help of tubes, water will be taken through these hot regions and it will be converted to steam and allowed to rotate the turbine and thereby operating the generator. Electricity will be produced, and using a cooling chamber, cooling tower, this water will again the temperature of the water be again reduced and taken back to the hot reservoir under the surface of earth, and this process repeats, and thereby electric energy can be produced. Okay, that is one type of geothermal energy production. So we discussed some types of renewable source of energy. So what I gave here is a small description of all these type of energy. So you have to explore more about all these type of renewable energy resources. Okay, so okay, students, thank you.